Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special treat. Today, I am joined by two special guests. And in case you guys are wondering, my name is AVP or Alicia. And in case you don't know what my channel exactly does, let's look over my lovely intro in case you're a little confused about who am I and what do I do. So let's check that out. So, as you guys see, I do a lot of different things on my channel. One of the things I'm predominantly known for is my Audible content and stuff like that. But today, I have a very special treat. I'm joined by two wonderful people in this lovely community. JP, who is well known in the community, and also his friend Matt Peace. And so, stay tuned for this fun, lively interview. Who knows what's going to happen? I have my list of questions for them. Who knows? They may ask me questions, but who knows? There might be a cage battle between JP and Matt. There may be a cage battle between the three of us. We never know. So stay tuned and let's introduce them one by one. So let's bring them in.
Hello.
Welcome, fellas.
Hi there.
Hey. Jaloja.
Jaloja. Live long and prosper.
Yeah, Jaloja long and prosper, everybody.
Jaloja long and prosper.
Yes, Jaloja long and prosper. So who wants to go first? Or do we flip a coin to see who goes first?
Somebody just says something to me and I'll start talking.
Hey, I saw that you do karaoke on your channel.
I do
so maybe
karaoke.
We could just all sing a song.
Ooh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it? Maybe saying she's always a woman, right?
I discovered that George. Now, does anybody watch Rick Beato's channel? Anybody know who that guy is? No, he's good. He's an excellent guitar player and musician. And what he does is he goes through and analyzes songs and tells you why they're good or why they're not.
Oh, yeah, I've seen him.
Yeah. But one thing he said that I picked up this week is he said that if you listen to any country song nowadays, it's guaranteed to be good because it's all done in Nashville, yeah. And everybody who does it is a pro. So anyway, nice. So I went and listened to a bunch of George Strait songs, and I was like, you know what? He's right. This song is great.
They got the right formula down, and they got all the right producers down there, so everything's quality.
It's all mixed perfectly. Professional writers. So
Country music capital of the world.
All my exes are in Texas. I'm working on that one.
That's why you live in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
See, I know the song. See, I know.
Great.
Yeah, I just got done recording some vocals because I'm doing a video for my upcoming Road to the Orville video that I'm going to be putting together really soon. So I just did a cover of California Here I Come.
Ooh,
put a little bit of Orville lyrics in there.
Nice. That's going to be fun. Yeah. That's going to be so much fun to see. We look forward to seeing that.
I just got to try to film what I want to film from it because it's a big to-do. I have to get somebody to hold a camera for me.
Yeah, yes. That's a problem.
The selfie stick can only go so far. So yes, I understand that one. Yeah, as long as we don't get the selfie stick that they talked about Saturday Night Live with the tail. Alrighty, my first question then will go to Matt then. What made you
writing.
want to create your own fan-based film series?
Well, it just kind of happened. What happened is actually it was Bach's birthday like 2 years ago, and a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of my Facebook friends were posting videos of them playing Bach solo cello pieces,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just starting to take cello seriously, and because I grew up as a violinist, and I'm really a violinist, but now I'm putting all this emphasis to the cello. Anyways, so I was like, I can do that. So I made the video, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to put some of my Star Trek stuff into this. So I made a video of me playing a Bach suite on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
That one went good. So then I made another, and another, and another, and another. And then finally I made one that was based on the Trouble with Tribbles. I think I showed you that.
Yes, you did. Yes,
And that's
you did.
where I created the character of Captain Hardinger, was for that video.
Nice.
And then the way my brain works, pretty soon I was like, wait a minute, that was cool. We should do. Then somehow I got the idea of start creating a whole fan series based on that character. And then it's history. I emailed JP like a week later with an outline of everything we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the original plan was going to be super short episodes that were like 3 to 5 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that didn't happen. Like the first episode was 17 minutes. Second episode is 30. And then the one we're working on now is actually going to be like an hour, except what I'm going to do is just split it up into two. But
2-part cliffhanger.
yeah, so they're always cliffhangers. So now I just have to figure out where to put the cliff. There's lots of them now.
Just don't jump off of it, okay?
Yeah.
So, JP, my next question will go to you then. We all know that you love the Orville. Why is it so special to you?
Well, it's special for a lot of reasons, especially more now than even when I first discovered it. But it was important to me the moment I saw it, because I'm like, oh, this reminds me of old traditional Star Trek, but also it had the writing style of Seth MacFarlane, as far as like when he writes, comedy, but not animated comedy. And so, and then the production value of it, all of that hit me right away. And I still wasn't sure about it. I saw the first episode when it first came out, the pilot, Old Wounds. And I was like, hey, this could be good. And then, but the second episode, Command Performance, instantly got me in the feels. I'm like, okay, it made me feel good. The crew's working together. They care about each other, and the stories are great. So instantly I started diving in, started talking about it on YouTube. And that's when people started watching my YouTube channel. When I started talking about, I was putting out videos. I put out hundreds of videos over the course of 2 or 3 years. And then the Orville came out, talked about that, and people were listening. And so I was just kept talking about it, kept researching the show, kept learning more about the show, kept learning more about everyone that's involved, production, sound, editing, writing, all that stuff. So I became just super appreciative of everything that goes into making not only that show, but a show of that level, a show that's big like that. So I just have a huge appreciation for it. And of course, I've dedicated myself to doing Orville content, because I would have nothing as if it wasn't for that show. I'd have a very different YouTube channel, if one at all, anymore, if it wasn't for the Orville and the Orville fandom. And the Orville fandom is the best I've ever been a part of. I mean, I'm a lifelong nerd, so I've been part of many fandoms. None of them comes close to the positivity and awesomeness of the people that are in the Orville fandom community.
Amen. I couldn't say it better myself. Yes, of course.
Can I do a follow-up? So JP, like, which episode was the one with the anti-banana ray?
Oh, that was the pilot. That's Old Wounds.
Old Wounds, yes. That's the Old Wounds.
Yeah.
Of course it's a Derek. Of course it's a Derek.
Yeah, of course it's a Derek. Of course his name's Derek.
You forget, Matt, me and JP are almost equal, because we both know Orville very, very well. Because people have said, oh, you should have JP and stuff like that. I go, like, you know what, JP and I know each other. So we're equal, very equal, because compare me to him in many ways because I'm the female version of JP in many ways.
Ooh, the female JP. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a female geeky nerd myself. I've been a geeky nerd all my life, so I have no excuse.
Yeah, and it's very hard not to love the Orville. If you like comedy a little bit and you love classic Star Trek and you like good stories and even great drama, it's hard not to like the Orville.
Exactly, as a dramedy is the perfect mix. So yes. So Matt, next question: have you always been a science fiction fan, and what are some of your favorites?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I started I first started watching Star Trek as the original series when I was in third grade. Though I know my parents must have been watching it when I was a lot younger because I remember I have this childhood memory of that alien in, the Corbomite maneuver. You know that episode, that giant sort of globy thing.
Yes.
And then there's this really scary looking alien that turns out to be a little kid. Anyways, when I was a kid, at the end of the credits of Star Trek, when my parents would watch, they always would have a quick picture of that alien, and it always scared me. Like I'd be afraid of it, but I would always look at it, and then I'd be scared. And I was probably like 3 years old or something like that. So it got in there early on. And then I must have watched The Cage when I was really little too, because I also have this childhood memory of being super scared of that scene where Captain Pike's trying to choke one of the Telosians and it turns into this monster with these big fangs, stuff like that. So scary stuff. Yeah,
that's okay. I used to be scared to death of the Wicked Witch of the West. So.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was scared of the Wicked Witch and Snow White. So.
Yeah.
I'm still scared of tornadoes.
Oh, I'm not. We get those all the time over here.
The only thing I'm scared of is bees because I'm allergic to them. So, but other than that, I'm not scared of anything else. Bring it on. That would be an interesting question, Big Daddy John. Who's the biggest Orville geek? It'd be cool to see the Orville quiz. Who would win? I think it would probably be a tie. I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to see the questions. I go in, and sometimes my knowledge is really strong, and then sometimes it wanes a little bit, and then it comes right back. Depends on how obsessed I am. So sometimes I'll take a break from, a few weeks off from looking at the Orville.
Well, I got one for you guys. So what is the precise matter-antimatter intermix ratio in the Orville's quantum drive?
No clue. Don't even know if they've...
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
The Bible discusses this.
And then you can Google that. I have that book.
I don't even know if they've ever revealed that.
I mean, they have to. It's got to use.
I don't think that's ever been revealed.
Yeah. All I know is it's the perfect amount.
Yes, exactly. Okay, JP. Next question. We see that you're multi-talented with singing and guitar playing, but when did these passions exactly kick off for you?
Oh, wow. Well, music's easy because my whole family, I come from a musical family. Bluegrass musicians, my entire family on my dad's side, including my dad. My dad was a well-known banjo player, and my whole family, mandolin players, guitar players, bass players, singers, and they would always be playing music every weekend. They'd have groups of people just coming over every weekend to play music. So that was easy. And guitar, I started, you kind of, in my family, it's like, you got to play something. So on my 10th birthday, I had my grandpa take me to a pawn shop and buy my first guitar. Had to be electric guitar. Now I prefer acoustic.
Nice.
When I was a kid, it had to be electric.
Did it come with an amp?
No, I had to get that separate. My uncle's got me a pig nose amp, which is a great little travel amp. Of course, I broke it. Not long after getting it, or somebody, I think my brother might have broken it. But now I have much nicer amps than that. But I wouldn't mind having a little pig nose amp again.
Bring back the times, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Matt, what would you call your style of the film? Is it a drama, comedy, dramedy, or is it simply a tribute to Star Trek?
Well, my latest thing is I say that it's part Star Trek, part comic book, and part Elvis movie. So it's got all those things in it. But I guess if you wanted to boil it down, it's going to be like a dramedy, sort of similar to the Orville, because there's a fair amount of slaps. Well, would you call it slapstick, JP? Or you just
Not
call it
quite.
sort
I
of,
would say the whole thing is kind of a comedic, dramatic, avant-garde type of piece.
yeah. Okay, there's definitely a '60s element to it, so
Yeah,
I like to make it
definitely.
really kind of surreal, and so it's got comedy in it. But the other goal that I'm trying to do now that I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I have so many ideas now for scripts. It just keeps unfolding. But now it's like I'm right back to the classic sci-fi thing where you use a sci-fi show basically to comment on current events and just the basic human conditions and stuff. So, and like I can see it totally as a vehicle for that. So it's really wild. It's very fun. It's very inspiring. But I guess you call it dramedy because there's a lot of drama, and we even have some action. We got drama, action, comedy, romance. Eventually, we're gonna get some kung fu, a la our version of Cobra Kai. Ours is gonna be a combination of kung fu and Cobra Kai, though.
Nice.
Not karate. We're Wing Chun Do. So.
Yeah, there's just a ton of pop culture in it.
There's tons, and it's
Tons.
unending. It's unending because there's so many other shows I want to bring into it too. Like for example, Cobra Kai. You know. But anyway. Also, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I'm finally at this late age watching Firefly, all the episodes of it.
Finally.
And so now, of course, I got to get some Firefly in there too now because it's a great show.
Nice.
So.
Round coat tonight.
Yeah, it's tough to get excited to watch things that you know were canceled.
Yes.
Was it Jupiter's Legacy and like on Netflix? I want to watch that, but it's already been canceled. I'm like, and I heard it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, oh, then what's the point?
Or flash forward too. I hate the way that ended. Hey, PJ, thank you for coming, friend. So, JP, what is one of your hobbies? We know you do music and all that kind of stuff. So, what are some of your hobbies, by the way?
Oh, besides playing fake slot machines on my phone.
Oh, we know he's a gambler now, folks.
Well, my latest hobby is a new lifestyle of fasting. I consider it a hobby as well. Right now, my main hobby is just becoming the healthiest version of myself I've ever been, and I'm on that journey right now. But also, I used to play video games a lot, but once you become a content creator, and I still love video games.
Time for that stuff.
Yeah, because when you work, when you're your own boss, you can work all the time, all day. So when you're taking time off to not work and actually do something you enjoy, you feel guilty that it's like, well, I could be working right now. So
yeah, it feels so weird.
Yeah.
Yes,
so I love video games, but I don't really play them that much anymore because I always feel like, oh God, I should be writing something or editing something or something like that. So
yeah, that's true. Because I was going to do that last night. I was going to do some gaming. And I said, wait, let me record a podcast. And I realized I spent nearly over an hour editing it. I'm like, wait a minute, this is taking longer than I thought it was. So I'm like, eek.
Yeah. And I have a very hard time doing more than one thing at a time. So it's like if I know I have something later today, I have a hard time starting something new, even though I have time to do something new. I just kind of count down towards that other thing I got to do, or do things that work towards that means.
So Matt, what inspired you in creating your fan series that you did?
Okay, well, we already kind of touched on that one, but that was, the other thing is, ever since third grade, when I first started watching Star Trek, it's always been in my mind. So, like, I always daydreamed about it and had dreams about being in Star Trek. I read Star Trek books, and blah, blah, blah. So, once I started getting serious about my channel, Pranakasha Productions, I realized, you know what? I'm just gonna have this channel be the top things that I'm really into, which is basically Star Trek, classical music, and comedy. Soon Shakespeare. I'm gonna start throwing that into the channel too.
Nice.
So that yeah. So it's always been part of me. And of course, Star Wars came out when I was 11. So when I saw Star Wars in the music in the theater, it was this giant theater. So like when the Imperial Star Destroyer flew over, the entire theater shook. And I remember, I mean, that movie was like a religious experience for me. I was like, holy crap. And so then for several years, I was totally into Star Wars until Star Trek: The Motion Picture came out. And then when I saw the hull plating on the Enterprise, and you could see all the little details of all the welds and everything, and it looked like this real thing made out of metal, I was like back into Star Trek again.
And there wouldn't have been that Star Trek: The Motion Picture without Star Wars.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah,
very true.
The
That's
success
true.
of Star Wars made the studios go, "What else? We got that spacey that we own that we can make a movie."
What can we do?
Yeah,
That's
And
true.
I was
Trek.
one of the people. I really liked Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I thought it was great.
The music's
And,
beautiful. The music's
yeah.
good.
it's
The
classic.
thing,
It's classic slow sci-fi, which is
Yeah.
sometimes that's that's the best sci-fi.
Yes. It takes 10 minutes for them to get out of the dock and bay.
Yeah.
I know.
So, yes. So, yes, exactly. So, this is a
Yeah.
question for either one of you. Is your character anything like you in the fan series?
Is there what?
Is your character anything like you in real life?
No, I can answer that one.
Yeah, go for it.
So my Captain Hardinger, I mean, there's a lot of aspects of me. It's kind of a combination, partly of me and partly my dad too. Because one of the things you discover in the fan series about Captain Hardinger is that he's struggling with his mental health, and like he's basically on the edge all the time, and that's part of why it's so surreal. It's because that's how his mind works, and so when stuff happens to him, he starts imagining all this stuff around him. And so part of the show is you're trying to figure out, are you seeing what he's imagining, or are you really seeing stuff? And he has flashbacks and all this thing. And then there's a couple scenes where Dr. McCoy hits him with a hypo spray.
Yes.
And later on in the series, it's going to turn out that Captain Hardinger is going to ask Dr. McCoy for some blue pills. And Dr. McCoy goes, I can't give you blue pills. And he's like, why? I gotta have them. And Dr. McCoy goes, you can't have the blue pills because you ordered a prescription for the red pills. So then Hardinger goes, well, to hell with the red pills. I gotta have these blue pills, man. And he says, you can't. If you have red pills and blue pills at the same time, you will surely die. Well, forget it. I'll just stop taking the red pills. Man, if you don't take the red pills, your mind will become so perturbed as to completely lose touch with reality. And then if your mind's gone, what good is manliness? So forget about the blue pills. You got to come up with something else.
We want the purple herbals, huh?
Yeah, we need a purple pill. Anyway, I shouldn't give it away, but there's two solutions. One of them would have worked, but then it kind of self-destructed right at the last second. But then the other solution actually ends up working. But then, of course, there's a special twist that comes along with it. So anyway, that's like 3 episodes from now. So
Nice.
we'll see.
Yeah, and I mostly play my
Like I
character
said-
I always play my character like myself, except for when I'm directed to do something way more charactery. Like sometimes I'll say weird lines, but because it's very surreal, avant-garde, all of a sudden I'll just be talking in a whole different character voice, but it's still me.
Because
Yeah,
in case you didn't know, JP has like tons of voices in his back pocket.
yeah, I've
So,
heard that.
The moment I figured that out, I'm like, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to use these. That's another big goal of the show is that what I do is the way that I write the show is I get actors on board, like people that are interested, and then once I get to know them and figure out like their special talents, then what I
Mhm.
do is I write the script that in a way that showcases their talents. And so it's sort of a big smorgasbord. That's why I say it's part Elvis movie, because there's a lot of musicians on the show, so I like to come up with excuses where we can do a song or play an instrument or whatever. And of course, like Captain Hardinger is always carrying his cello everywhere. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, what's up with this show? And then now JP's got a guitar, or Captain
Mhm.
Teddy Bear's got a guitar, and so on.
Mm.
And Elaine has a great voice. She's a super good singer, and so there's lots of chances for her
Yes.
to sing, so on.
That makes me think
And
of my next.
JP, well, I want to say something though. JP does the voice of Scotty,
Mm-hmm.
Sulu. He'll be doing the voice of Isaac.
From the Orville.
Right.
Nice. Of
Also,
course.
he does this really good over the world narrator voice. Like
Mm-hmm.
in the Lava Lamp, when we had that scene from Star Wars where they're talking about
Mm-hmm.
the two sons of Orvilla, and there's this really cool narrator voice. That's JP. So
That's
basically,
me.
and then he did and like we did like in episode 1 when we did that thing with uh the Eagle lithium battery packs for Dr. Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right.
So remember that? So a lot of this stuff is not even in the script. What happens is we do a shoot, right? And we're
Mm-hmm.
going along, and I just go, "Can you do Dr. Evil?" And he's like, "Yeah, thanks. We'll do it. Okay, try that. Oh, that's really good. Okay, wait a sec. Let's do it like this. Okay." So 5 minutes later, like for example, the Orvillian anthem that we did that I
Mm-hmm.
just showed you today.
Right.
Same deal. I woke up in the morning. I took a nap on the couch, right? And I knew me and JP were going to get together for a Zoom call that night. And I thought the thought came into my head. You know what? Maybe JP. I mean, JP plays the guitar, so maybe we should somehow get a guitar into the scene. And then that was about it. So then he comes on, and I go, "Hey," or I told him, I sent him a message saying, "Bring your guitar tonight, and we'll do some." So that's all we did, right? So we get there, and I just throw this at him. I go, just do like one of those flamenco things where you do like an E chord and you go up the strings, and come back down. He's like, yeah. So we screw around for like a minute, and then he starts making stuff up. And then I'm like, wait, stop, do that again. And I'm like, yeah, do that. Okay, do that. And then now just figure out something to sing. A minute later, he's singing the Orvillian anthem, And I'm like, that's great. All right, let's do 3 takes of that, and then we're good. And so that was the scene. And then what happens is then I'm like, that was awfully damn cool. So then I spent a week trying to add tablas and bass guitar. Just so happened that a friend of mine emailed me 2 weeks before and said, hey, I'm really starting to play bass guitar again. You got any gigs for me? So then I thought, hey, wait, I should go call Ned and have him add a track to this, see what happens. So he does the bass guitar. I pull out my tablas, and then I actually wrote some orchestrations to it too, but they're mixed so far in the background you can't even tell. However, in later episodes, I'm going to use those when we fly to the planet Orvilla, and that's going to be the Orvilla theme. Anyways, so the whole thing, like when me and JP get together, half the stuff on the show is straight off the cuff, not even planned. We just do it. And then JP's got so much talent, and he's willing to just jump right in. And then I can kind of guide him, like I react to what he does, and then I can guide him. So the two things, like it's super fun. So
Nice.
there's so much improv that happens. And then the other funny way, and the funny thing about it is like the other thing that happens is the way it works is, so we just make up this stuff on the fly, right? And then my brain starts churning, and it figures out ways to connect all these random things together and to create like this epic story out of it. Like, and then the thing that's really weird is sometimes it's like my brain already knew. Like, for example, this whole Cobra Kai thing I'm going to do now. It turns out one of my high school buddies has been doing kung fu since he was like 16,
Ooh.
and it's his thing. So I finally realized, and I started watching Cobra Kai, and I'm like, I gotta somehow get this show in our show. And then I realized, wait a sec, Tim knows kung fu. He lives on Bainbridge. He'll just be Master Tim, and I'll be his disciple, and we'll do some kung fu stuff. And so we're throwing it into the intro of episode 3. Then just yesterday, I realized, you know what? In episode 1, Hardinger said a line that said that electronic kung fu is strong. When he was talking about the electronic countermeasures of the missiles.
Mm.
So that is a dramatic foreshadowing of this Cobra Kai thing that I'm doing 3 episodes later, and I didn't even know I was going to do it back then. So
Wow,
I mean, it's all kinds of wild stuff like that goes on. But I'm really into epic stories. Like there's this gigantic epic poem in Hindu literature called the Mahabharata.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 19 volumes long or something like that, and it just
Word.
goes on and on and on and on and on. But anyways, I kind of worked that into the show. This whole bit about the Kurukshetra comes straight from the Mahabharata, and like Western audiences won't really know what we're talking about. So for them, it's just a bunch of sci-fi technical babble.
I know
But if I
volumes.
say-
Guardians of the Galaxy has 3 of them.
Yeah,
It reminds me of Odyssey and the Iliad too by Homer.
yeah, it's very similar. It's the Iliad and the Odyssey this is kind of like the Indian version of the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Mahabharata.
Oh boy.
I went to Evergreen State College in Olympia, and we did this course called Great Books way back in the late 80s, and we studied all this mythology, and also we studied quite a bit of the Bible, and put it all together. So that planted my whole thing about epic poems. So this show is going to be like that. It's going to be like a Star Trek version of just this huge journey that basically me and JP go through. So in a sense, because of that, it's going to be kind of like Bill and Ted too.
Wild Stallions.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to have the Matrix in it. It's got to have some Doctor Who in it at some point.
Nice.
And with Firefly, Star Wars, Mandalorian's in it. I don't know. Is there any other side? Oh, Godzilla.
Will there be any Dune?
Yeah, Dune. Yep. There'll be Dune.
Nice. So you both do multiple voices and stuff like that. How long does it take you to find the right voice for that particular character, by any chance?
Oh God, it just takes a bunch of tries until it just starts coming together. So we just go over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
and,
we do.
And Matt will say, "Okay, go up 10%, go up 20%."
I'm really hard on JP. Like when we do the Scotty voice, I mean, we literally did I swear we did 50 takes of one line.
Yeah, well, it'll start off as Scotty, and I'll start off as Scotty, and it'll end up as Chekhov.
I'm like, no, that's not Chekhov.
I'm like,
I mean, and I'm sitting here going like, you need to inflect a little higher on that one syllable, and then you need to go a little slower on that one. And I have to hit myself, and sometimes I have to tell myself to shut up and just let him do it. But
just gotta do it over and over and over until, and then eventually we're like, oh, right there, okay, that was it, we got it.
Yeah.
And then your horse probably.
Well, and if you go back and listen, if you watch the episode, he totally nailed Scotty. And even to my ear, when I know exactly what we went through to get to that. When I listen to it now, I'm like, yeah, that's Scotty. But sometimes it takes a lot of work to get there.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have to keep doing it.
Yes, I've noticed that. Okay, JP, how would you describe the Orville series in your own words, by any chance?
Wow. There was something they wrote, actually, that I was like, that still, for me, purposely encompasses the Orville. Their first tagline when the show, before it came out, was, "A lot has changed in 400 years, except for people. But people are the same."
Yes.
And I'm like, that's exactly what it is. It's 400 years in the future. We have the benefit of all the, they have the benefit of all the things that, they can fix that we haven't fixed yet here, 400 years behind. But the characters, the characters can be picked up and dropped off in a modern day show.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's very true. So who is someone for you, JP, that you would want to meet and interact with, but you have not yet with?
I have, and I don't know if this comes from my childhood. I want to meet everybody from the Orville. I will be meeting some people from the Orville in just 2 weeks from now. But
yes.
I don't know, some sort of thing. Maybe I just feel like we would be besties. Scott Grimes. And I don't know if it's because back when I was a little kid, we had a VHS tape of Critters, and I'd watch Critters all the time, and I just remembered the kid from Critters. And I've seen Scott Grimes, the adult, in many things, and I just never made a connection. And then when I saw him in the Orville, I'm like, damn, he looks familiar. What do I know him from? Someone's like, Band of Brothers. I'm like, no. ER. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh God, that's a kid from Critters. And about him, and the fact that he's musical and he's funny, and I think it'd be great to get a beer with him.
Very cool. What about you, Matt? Who's somebody that you'd want to meet and interact with, but you haven't yet with?
Let's just stick with people that are still alive. Otherwise, we're talking Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven, and Brahms, so on.
Never meet your classical heroes.
I'd like to meet Gandhi. Yeah. And but for people that are alive, I would really like to meet Katie Sackhoff. Now that I've watched her YouTube channel, she's a riot. So her, Shakira, I think Shakira is super talented, and I got really interested in her music before she was even popular in North America. Like I saw her on Univision, which is a Spanish station, and I really like it, and especially like her Spanish music best. Who else? I wouldn't mind meeting
the Monopoly guy.
The Monopoly guy?
Yeah.
The Easter Bunny, right?
Yeah. Top hat.
Oh, actually, I would very much like to meet Elon Musk.
Ooh, okay.
SpaceX, and tell him a few things. There's a few things about my Tesla that need to get tweaked, so I need to talk to him about that.
So when you need to make an appointment,
like for example, all right. For example, the what is it called? The droplet density threshold needs to have a slider. So like it has these automatic windshield wipers that detect how much rain's on the windshield before it goes swoosh. But I want to have a little slider where I can tell it, okay, when there's like 50 raindrops per square inch, that's when it swooshes. Or like, oh, today's a little different. I want to dial it down to 17 or whatever. I think that they need that.
And a flux capacitor would be awesome as well.
You need a flux capacitor. Well, I'll probably have that actually.
If they remade Back to the Future, which they better not, if they did, it'd be a Tesla.
No,
for sure it would be a Model 3. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, Elon Musk. Oh boy. There's lots of people. Any talented person. To tell you the truth, anybody. I mean, once you get to know any person, they become quite fascinating.
That's true.
So it's just whoever you happen to be talking to.
So, are we going to get any background information from any of about your characters this coming episode by any chance?
Background information. Are we? Well, you've seen the episode, right? Well, you've seen 2/3 of it. You haven't.
Yes,
seen
I have.
The last bit. Okay, so let me think.
I think we will. I think we
we do. I mean, we do. Well, there always is. Well, Hardinger's always flashing back, so you always get.
Yes, he is. But Captain Justin, we don't know that much about him, so I'm wondering will we find out more about him, about his relationship.
Yeah, we don't get too
That's
much
a good-
background in the next one yet. But we do have a big shuttlecraft adventure.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
coming up. We're working on that. We're shooting that right now, and
Cool.
it'll be exciting. You know, that's a good point. We got to figure out a backstory for Captain Jason Powell, actually. I mean, I do have a backstory for the Orvilians that I can kind of reveal if you want to know about them.
Mm-hmm.
Because these Orvilians are a little bit different than the Orville Orvilians. So these Orvilians they come off as being all virtuous and super high tech and very evolved, TNG-ish type of folks. But there is a unmentionable dark side that they don't like to talk about, which happens to be.
We going back to Star
I mean,
Wars?
it's a bit expansive. In fact, we've already revealed this in that the whole thing that makes the Orvilian culture technology work is egolithium crystals, right?
Oh yes.
So where do they get that egolithium crystals from?
Mm-hmm.
They get it from the asteroid belt. But who's the people that mine it?
Chick-fil-A.
Do all the dirty work for them.
That's why they're closed on Sundays, right?
Okay. Well, JP, this is funny you said that because believe it or not, my wife has worked for Chick-fil-A quite a bit.
Oh, really? I've only had them once.
Actually, their wraps are really good.
Hmm.
But when she started working for them, I was giving her so much crap about it. You know, that she set me straight. They aren't the evil corporation I thought they were.
Yeah.
They're real people too. So, and their nuggets are pretty good, but the wraps are really good.
Mm-hmm. So if somebody wanted to be on the fan series by any chance, how would they go about letting you know they want to be on the series?
They would probably just talk to either me or JP. Just say, "Hey, can I be on it?"
And then I'd send them straight to you.
Yeah. And then I would say, well, I can tell you that I am on the lookout for guest stars. And the biggest thing, the biggest qualification that I'm looking for right now, which will probably piss off a certain crowd, is that I really want more non-white people in the show.
Okay.
We got enough white people. Me and JP. And my wife actually is
I'm a huge white
Hawaiian. Yeah, my wife's Hawaiian, so she kind of counts as being of color.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the biggest. That's the number one thing that I really need. So, and I have some people that are going to be in the show and have significant roles. But so that's, I mean, I want the show to be more diverse.
Mm-hmm.
And so.
And it's tough. And it's just tough to get people because we've been doing this Zoom style with Zoom meetings and stuff, and green screens.
Yeah. Well, what happens, to tell you the truth, you want to know how people get on the show? It's not like people come and ask me, "Can I be on the show?" What has happened so far is I'm like, I want that person on my show. I have to. A lot of times I had to really twist my wife's arm to get her to do it. Like, she's like, "I can't do this. I'm not an actor."
And you're like, "Remember about Chick-fil-A?"
Okay.
And she's like, "Yeah, I do owe you for that."
Yeah. I said, just play yourself and we'll just exaggerate it a little bit and you'll be fine. So she did it. And then everybody's like, "Oh God, Chef Fred is great. I love her." So now I tease my wife. I'm like, "You're a superstar, man. You have to be on again. The fans demand it. You can't let them down. You know, you got to be on the show, huh? You know, do it for them.
Do it for the fans."
But the funny thing is, after we did that whole chai scene, she went and watched it after I edited it, and she goes, "Oh my God, that is totally us." It's really close to how we really interact. It's just a little bit amped up, but not that much.
Wow.
Anyway.
So, JP, what's something that people would be surprised to know about you that they don't know about you? I mean, we know that you're very enthusiastic, very happy-go-lucky, but what's one thing that people would be surprised to know about you?
I can stare at a blank wall for hours and just contemplate the universe.
Ooh.
and and I take pride in that because I've been able to change things about myself by being able to do that and being able to get outside of myself and and reflect back on, oh, why do I react this way in certain situations? Why don't I do this thing that I always wanted to do and I don't do it? Or why TV shows that aren't made the way that I would have made them don't bother me, because I'm like, well, a couple stars just collided and exploded a few kabillion miles that way. So this TV show thing doesn't bother me that much because that's kind of a bigger deal. And then that's caused me to be able to, take certain movies or shows where the internet, the internet likes to call everything a dumpster fire no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm like, well, from what I know of working in the industry, because I came from LA, I've been on little TV shows and sets and stuff like that. I know that most productions are just good people trying to come up with trying to tell their story the way that they want to tell it. And they hope people like it. And I'm like, okay, these are people with feelings. They put their pants on 2 legs at a time like me. And so, yeah, that's one thing people don't realize. I'll sit in a room with nothing going on for hours and I'll just be thinking. I'll be figuring things out. I do it all the time. That sometimes is why it takes me so long to get new stuff out. It's because I'll just sit there and think about it for a couple days in my head.
Fair enough.
So you're like perfect for the lava lamp episode we did. So we started staring into the lava lamp and tripping out, and I gave him this great line. He's like, "Yeah, these blobs are interesting."
Yeah, they're interesting.
It's in slow motion almost.
Yeah. That lava lamp actually is the star of the show. It's going to have a recurring role. So.
That deserves
a real lava lamp.
Mhm.
I turn it on every morning when I quote go to work, which means I go sit in my computer in my living room. I got the lava lamp on, like all day long.
Got that lava lamp vibe going.
Yeah.
Yep.
So JP, so that means you're a natural meditator. So you just naturally do that, or did you actually take some meditation training and stuff like that?
No, I naturally do it. I've done it since I was young. And
Wow.
and then, as life, you kind of forget as you get older and life gets complicated. And then like most people, you kind of get unhappy with things and you don't know why. And so I went back to just sitting there, getting rid of distractions. And as the world has gotten more distracting, the older that I've gotten. You used to be able to sit and there was nothing to do. You could either watch TV or not, or you could go do something. There was no phones. There was no notifications. There was no social media. And so I had to realize, hey, I got all this crap that's trying to get my attention at all times. And so I had to learn to shut things off and to get rid of notifications. And that's one reason sometimes it takes me a long time to get back to people, because I have absolutely no notifications enacted, because it interrupts my life flow, my life energy, or it stops me from, I'll be writing a script. I used to try to write scripts and I'll ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, what? If you stop for 1 millisecond, it takes you a couple minutes to get back into it.
Right, I get that.
So in order to get stuff done, I turned everything off.
Right, gotcha. All right, Matt, can you explain the origins of your company name by any chance? In case someone was curious.
Final Couch Productions. Yes, I can. Okay. So first off, I took Sanskrit in college. I took 3 quarters of Sanskrit. So it's a bona fide real Sanskrit word. So prana means life force, and akasha means space. So it's like the life force within space. And I call it the space of life. And then of course we call it the creative space of life. So you could call it the creative space. But the real origin of that word is years ago, before I played the cello, I had a cello that one day I got inspired to create this cosmic sound using a cello that was basically, and it's just kind of this ohm sort of sound that sounds kind of like a B-52 bomber, or not a B-17 bomber. It's like, and it's a whole bunch of layers of cello sound. And I ended up making a CD and selling it on CD Baby, and I called it Pranakasha. And so I trademarked that name, basically just to trademark the name for that CD. And then later I realized I somehow got the idea to turn it into Pranakasha Productions once I started getting into videos, and then that's what it became. Yeah.
Cool.
That's what it is.
So what made you decide to learn to do the cello by any chance?
Well, I grew up playing violin, and I once had a crush on a girl that was really good at cello, so there must be that. But it was many years later before I actually decided to learn the cello, and that happened because I started, for some reason, I got inspired to start writing a cello concerto. And about halfway through the first movement, I thought, you know, if I learned how to play the cello, I could probably write a better concerto. So that's how I decided. And that concerto actually still isn't totally done. I have to write the last bit of the last movement, but the first two movements are done. And part of it's in episode 3. So there's a spot where I get to showcase it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I heard part of it in episode 2 as well.
Yeah, it's a very passionate part of it. Actually, part of it's actually in episode 1 too.
Yeah, that's true. I did hear an episode 1. That's true.
It's kind of a recitative thing that happens, and that's actually from my cello concerto. Right when Elaine calls him, and he listens to her on the communicator.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, for either one of you, what is your favorite alien species?
Oh, geez, that is a tough one. That is a tough one.
Oh, I stumped JT. Ooh.
I'm totally not stumped.
I don't want to say anything from the Orville because that'd be too easy. I'm very interested in not just Selaeans, but how the gravity works on the planet. Like, you know, when they had a Selaean tequila, I'm like, is that really Selaean tequila? Was it from the planet? Is that tequila like 20 pounds? Like, you know, how does that work?
You have to do some weightlifting.
Probably more powerful.
Yeah.
Because the cactuses are more dense to be able to hold themselves up. They got to have more cactus juice in them. It's got to be thicker.
As long as there's not pickle juice in it.
Yeah, but maybe it's too heavy for your body to absorb, so maybe you don't get as messed up from it.
But it lasts longer, though. Yeah, you might get messed up for days.
But it's real heavy. It goes right through you. Not as fast as Upsada wine. But
as long as it's not Geloja and while you're drinking it.
Yeah, actually, none of that.
We're gonna explore this in episode 7. So just wait till we'll figure that all out.
But my favorite alien, I don't know if I can. I don't know.
Selaean tequila.
I don't know. I'll say Selaeans, but that's from the Orville. Non-Orville, I was gonna say the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. We know nothing about them, but the whole
that's true.
You know,
that's true.
There's not much story involved with them, but I want to know what that is because that blows my mind.
Yeah, so it reminds me of Supernatural a little bit. What about you, Matt? Which one's your favorite?
So mine is the very first thing that comes to mind, and it's super obvious, would be Vulcans. Because Spock had such an influence on our culture. Everybody knows who Spock is.
Yeah, everyone in the world.
Everybody's fascinated by him. So because of that, I'm going to say the Vulcans, even though he was only half Vulcan.
But he was still the most Vulcan of any Vulcan I've ever seen, even though he was half.
That's true. Closest probably Tim Russ would be a very close Vulcan, but yeah.
Yeah, Tim Russ.
He's
not playing the blues.
Yeah.
So how long does it take to record and film the episodes by any chance?
Well, okay, this episode I started in January, and it's now June, and I'm still only 2/3 done.
Oh. So,
but I do have a day job, so that's my excuse.
Okay, fair enough.
But I was hoping to be able to do an episode every 3 months.
Yeah, just with my scenes usually take a couple of Zoom sessions, about an hour or 2 hours a piece.
Yeah, I
think we get how far we can get in the script.
Yeah, for JP, I think we've done 3 sessions per episode. So the shooting is what takes the least amount of time. It just takes forever to edit it.
Yeah, it's a highly edited piece.
I mean,
lots of
with
angles,
that show,
cuts.
because it's all green screens, the entire thing from start to finish is special effects. So it takes a long time to get the kind of look that I want. Also, it takes quite a while to get the sound effects and the music the way I want it and everything. There's a lot to it. So, yep. Yeah.
Uh-oh, are you frozen?
Uh-oh. What happened?
Frozen, let it go, let it go.
Alicia, wait.
Now it's just
Alicia.
Sorry about that, folks. My internet was kidding me out. Okay, I see Jack's question in the chat for you guys. He says, time to ask the hard question. JP, what is the secret to your beautiful beard? I can't even grow one that big.
Well, what I did was I just stopped shaving. That was the important part. And then when it got really long, and I've had a beard for a very long time now, but I take care of it more now than I did when I was younger. I'll brush it down and blow dry it, make it smell good. Also, a lot of people, when I was younger, I'd shave down way too far. So I stopped doing that. I have it match on both sides, kind of around the mustache area. But I remember back in the day, I used to shave really far down. I mean, you see a lot of people do that. But the secret is you wash it, you condition it sometimes, you put some beard oil in it. And you got to have that beard oil, especially if you're blow drying your beard, because you're going to lose moisture. Now, to put something topical, you can't really moisten your beard. It all comes from your skin. So you want to put beard oil on your skin, and then it gets sucked up by your hair follicles. It keeps it nice and fresh. Brought to you by JP's Beard Oil, if I had one.
JP's Beard Oil.
I like that one. So, JP,
you can do a beard oil commercial, and I'll do a Control GX for men commercial someday.
So, JP, which character is most like you? It could be an Orville one. It could be whichever. What kind of character is most like you?
Well, from the Orville, I identify the most. I'm probably a mixture of Gordon and Kelly in real life.
Ooh, okay.
That's probably the closest to my real personality is Kelly and Gordon mixed, which isn't necessarily mixed because the two of them didn't make it.
That's true.
That's probably the closest is a combination of those two, and that applies for any universe. You find two characters like that, that's probably the closest. Like I'm funny, but I've had lots of life experiences, and I've thought about a lot of things about myself on the planet and the universe. So yeah, I would say that those two.
That's kind of the key to good comedy, though. It seems like all the really good comics are actually quite profound, and they do a lot of deep thinking. And that's like why their comedy's so good. Because
I need to think deeper. Then, if I need to get funnier by thinking even deeper, I need to stare at the ceiling instead of the wall.
To get the more deeper thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, looks like we lost Matt. Okay, so has there been any scenes, any chance for you, JP, that have made you cry from the Orville series? I know there's been a couple things that made me a little teary-eyed.
Lots of things, and sometimes I'll rewatch. I rewatch all the time. I don't even always watch full episodes. I'll watch scenes.
Right.
But I'm always watching something. Scenes that made me cry, and this didn't make me cry the first time, but I was actually just watching Identity, Part 2, yes. The battle scene. Right. And I was watching the battle scene, and I've got overwhelmed with just everything going on. Everything going on in that scene. I was sitting right here at this computer watching it because I needed some scenes from it. And I just stopped and I was just watching, and I was overwhelmed. I got a little teary-eyed. But of course, also a happy refrain.
Yes.
On the bridge, Isaac and Claire finding out they're in love, and it's raining, and you have the music. And of course, I grew up on musicals. a little bit similar to the way Seth did. And so I knew all the music, and so that, and while that was happening, I was remembering my own previous relationships in my life, as well as moments of when I was listening to that type of music. So it all came together for me there. And then lasting impressions. See what moment from lasting impressions? Oh, the song when Gordon and Laura were singing together at the end.
Yes.
The moment that Gordon leans in to the microphone and they're singing together and he's getting closure. That did it right then and there. I still have fond memories of that. I'm trying to think of some season 1 moments. This was a happy moment in Command Performance, and this was also the moment that made me realize I'm going to love this show. It's going to be great. In Command Performance, when Gordon and John were mad at Alara for not agreeing to go and save Kelly and Ed, and then she changes her mind. She says, "You know what? We're going to go save them." And everyone gets up, and they're like, "Yeah!" Right then, I got a little bit choked up a little bit because of just the camaraderie, and we were at a point where you just didn't at that point with television, you just didn't see that very much anymore. Usually everything was like, how are we going to stop getting in the way of us surviving zombies? Damn it. That was usually what scenes that
like, I'm sick of zombies or the reality TV. So I can totally understand that. And here's Matt.
Yeah.
Here's Adam back.
Yeah. So to see people so excited to go and do the work and go into the dangerous situation to save their people, that got me.
So what got you started on your science fiction journey by any chance, JP? I mean, Matt went through his. So how did you get started?
As far as like sci-fi fan, I started very young. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. Twilight Zone used to come on all the time. The old black and white Twilight Zone, which is still my favorite. Right. And so I would absorb those. And then Twilight Zone led me to old reruns of the original series. And then I just loved everything that I saw that was sci-fi because of those two. Story-wise, because of Twilight Zone, cool sci-fi looking stuff, because of Star Trek, but then a lot of Star Trek episodes were very similar to Twilight Zone style writing, which I always appreciated. And so that, and then all of a sudden it was, reruns of the original Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers, and I would watch the original Lost in Space all the time, and all that stuff. And then of course in 1987, a commercial came on announcing that they were going to be doing Star Trek The Next Generation. Mm-hmm. And I was so excited for it. And it came on and I watched it ever since. And then, so at this point, I love Star Trek. I love so much, but nothing hits me quite the way that The Next Generation does, even though I'm a huge Voyager fan and a really huge Enterprise fan. After many years of, I watched all of Enterprise when it first came out, and it got really good. As most people are stuck with it, go, damn, this got really good. But I didn't realize until last year, I was like, let's sit down and finally rewatch this whole thing because it's been so long. And I'm like, damn, Enterprise is an amazing series. And now after the fact, you could see all the influences that 9/11 had and terrorism had on the show, and then going back and remembering that time in history, and then also watching the show kind of be affected by it. You can see it now after the fact. You're like, wow, they're really diving into the stuff that was being talked about in real life into this show. So I love Enterprise. I even love the theme song. Didn't at first, but now I'm in love with it.
Yeah, I love the theme song too. I don't blame you. Good choice, JP.
Yeah.
So, Matt, are you a fan of chai tea? I mean, we see that your captain loves chai tea. Are you an actual fan of chai tea?
Well, let's see. Hold on for a
second. He's got chai tea.
Something tells me I opened up a can of worms by doing that one.
Yeah, or he's opening up a can of chai tea.
Uh-oh, what did Matt break?
Oh, is that backwards, or can you read that?
No, it's normal on my screen.
Yes, normal on my side.
Internet Spirit Yoga. Yeah, so Spirit Yoga is Pranakasha Pustakaya Uttaka Yoga, which is this is my chai cup of life. In the show, I drink chai out of an everyday astronaut cup because I like it, and apparently that cup you can't get anymore. But anyway, yes, in real life, I do drink chai every day.
Okay, fair.
So the answer was yes.
Peppers.
Exactly. A very long answer. Define the word yes.
Grew the cayenne peppers ourselves, so they're fresh. Well, I don't know. We grew them last summer, so does that mean they're still fresh if they're from last summer?
No.
I don't
They
know.
weren't fresh. But at
They're
least
old fresh.
they're fresh spirit. They're spiritually fresh. Okay, that's the important part. Is
Fair enough.
It's like Subway says, eat fresh.
okay from now on.
Every day, yes. It's a very loose version of fresh. I don't eat Subway now.
Does it count if instead of staring at a wall, I stare at my cello?
No, it doesn't.
Inside the F hole. Well,
It has to be completely blank, right, JP?
Yeah, it has to be flat.
Come
Nothing.
on.
And cellos are curvy.
I could stare into the bottom of my.
That counts.
All right.
As long as there's nothing in it.
What do you mean? No?
Staring at the bottom of a glass is how a lot of country
Hold on.
songs start.
Exactly. Reflected and
Mhm.
contemplate their whole life.
At least.
Matt, your audio keeps dropping out a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does, Matt.
Okay, so.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
He's being held hostage, folks. The ego and I have held him captive. We're going to take him to the Orville.
Okay, how about now? Is it still cut?
That's better.
Yeah, a little bit better. It might cut out every once in a while.
I just need to speak slow. Okay,
Or get a little louder too. It's the volume's gone down.
louder.
Yeah,
That
even louder than that whisper.
louder.
There you go. That's it.
There we go.
Unfortunately,
Groovy.
the batteries of my Android phone, which I love dearly, have dissipated. So now I'm using my iPad, which I'm not as happy about.
Mm. That's why it's changed. Okay. Mystery solved.
He went
From
for the
Android to
Galaxy.
Apple.
But the only good. Oh, hey, do you guys want to see Pranakasha Central?
Sure, why not?
The cello, so that's part of it. I mean, this is Harninger's cello. It's a real cello. It's very good. I love it. Pranakasha Central is over here.
Why don't you just beam over?
Yep.
See? Okay, and then
There it is.
now wait.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a sec. I mean, you got to see the green. You have to see the green screen to really.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that's a very, very big green screen.
And then we got a green floor. And while we're at it, okay, any people that are prone to motion sickness, I'm going to close your down here, if I point, there's the tablas. Those are the tablas. Wait, okay, hold on. That produce that beautiful tabla sound in the Orvillian Planetary Anthem.
Nice.
I don't use sampled tablas like everyone else. I use real tablas.
You're the last one. You're the last one using the real thing.
I am, but that's how it should be. We are real. We're human. We're not a bunch of sampled MIDI tablas. Do we play MIDI guitars? Does JP play a MIDI guitar? No. with a rookie.
You,
JP lip sync
yeah, I could.
the Orvillian anthem. No, JP was singing that.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
real.
he was.
That was real. JP is real. We all want to be real too.
I'm real, you guys.
Oh, so
Some of you guys doubted it, but I'm real.
He's real. He's real. We're all real.
real.
Except my background's not real. It's just green screen too.
Real.
Mine's real.
Gravity.
Yeah, I can tell yours is real. So who writes the episodes by any chance? I mean, I know in the credits on the description it mentions a lot of things, but who actually writes the episodes? Is it both of you, or is it just one of you, or is it like a combination?
I write nothing.
But hold on there. Hold on, boy. Yourself some credit when credit's due. Now, look, I write the majority of the episodes. Then JP speaks lines, and then I ask JP, "There's something wrong with that line, right? We got." Yep. So he helped write the episodes. So,
Well, I just say, I don't know if I'd say to and from. I would just say here and there, something simple like that.
also, my friend James, who is the James of we got a James in our tag for our channel.
Mm-hmm.
We went to college together. He was at Evergreen State College with me, and we were roommates. And now our other roommate was like the biggest pothead in the entire campus, and seemed to be the deal for everyone too. So I mean, we never partook. Okay, right? But we accidentally may have inhaled some fumes. So
No.
me and Jay Facebook there. So he's the one who's actually he taught me everything I know about, because he even back then comedy was like his life, and he's the one who taught comedy is powerful and everything like that. So
The audio keeps going out real bad.
Yeah, it does.
All right, screw it. Then let me do it. I'm gonna switch machines.
Switching the machines. He's gonna go find the anti-banana ray. Turn that thing on.
Call Isaac next time. Oh, wow. So for you, JP, I still got questions for you. Don't worry.
Oh, no worries. You just say anything to me, and I got lots to say.
Gotcha. So who are some of your idols in the science fiction world by any chance?
Science fiction world. As far as creators go, you got to go Gene Roddenberry. Rod Serling would be a big one for me. A really big one for me. And then a lot of creators, they just come and go. The franchises stay the same, but whoever is in charge of the franchise usually changes every few years. So that one's a tough one. Joss Whedon, I used to love a lot of Joss Whedon stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I consider his stuff sci-fi for the most part. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and
all that.
Angel and all that fun stuff. Firefly.
Yep.
But most of my influences come from comedy. Like I'm a huge comedy nerd. So Michael Schur, who he was one of the main writers on The Office, but then he created Parks and Recreation. And a bunch of other shows, Superstore, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, things like that. Mm-hmm. But all the classic comedians, stand-up comedy has always been a big deal for me. I'd even George Carlin.
Oh yes.
Even Bill Cosby before we knew what a monster he was.
Did you say Seinfeld yet? Did you say Seinfeld yet?
No.
Oh yeah, I love Seinfeld. Absolutely. So I've always been huge on comedy, and then fun science fiction, it was always easier for me to jump right in. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the mood for some fun science fiction, which would be, Star Trek, stuff like that. When it comes to the very serious sci-fi, I have to be in a mood.
What would you consider serious?
Oh God, I don't know. Anything where everybody's mad at each other.
You consider The Expanse serious?
Yeah, Stargate would be kind of Stargate's kind of fun too, though. Like I loved Sliders, Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Quantum Leap.
Serious. Let me see. Dune's a very serious one. Very serious.
Yeah,
Dune is
serious. Yeah, I have to be very in the mood for that type of thing.
Yeah.
But then when I am, it's like okay, everybody shut up. I'm focused on this right now. Don't talk to me while I'm focused on my serious sci-fi.
Terminator.
Yes.
Terminator's fun for me too.
Alien.
I'm a glutton for Terminator. Alien is serious.
That's really serious.
Yeah. But still there's that fun actiony aspect to even that, scary aspect. But stuff where it's a lot of people just like, we're in a situation, we have to deal with this right now type of thing. Like I haven't seen it yet, but there's that what's that new one with oh God, I think it might be on Netflix with what's her face from what the hell is that called? From Pitch Perfect. Who's the star of Pitch Perfect?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Oh,
Anna something.
Anna.
Anyway, yeah, there's a thing where she's on a spaceship and they're going out somewhere, and then some guy is a stowaway, and then they find out he's there, and they have to figure everything out. That's serious sci-fi.
Yeah, that's serious. Well, okay, if you went serious, would you consider The Martian serious?
That one was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
So if it has a fun element, if it has a what if element to it, that's not a bunch of people yelling at each other, and nobody was yelling at each other in The Martian because
that's true.
It's just Matt Damon.
It's just Matt Damon yelling at the potatoes.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, he's a really good botanist. Let's just,
Yeah, okay, it was Anna Kendrick. Okay, thank you.
Personally, I would have grown broccoli, but that's just me.
Yeah. Well, he ended up growing poop potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. So how would you two describe your friendship? How do you make it work in spite of, obviously one of you's more popular than the other one?
I think it has to do with we just like certain things.
Same stuff.
Same type of stuff. And, we'll chat online, we'll chat on Zoom, and it just works.
Yeah.
Matt's a creative guy, and I like creative people, so it's easy for me.
JP is similarly creative, super good at off the cuff. So
I don't even wear cuffs.
Yeah.
I got the cuffs then.
You do.
Yeah.
And Matt's got the cuffs too. So I guess we gotta keep you in check, huh, JP?
Yeah, I keep those cuffs off.
Alrighty. So how did the two of you meet by any chance? In case somebody was curious about how the two of you met.
Okay, I can tell you. So I became a subscriber to Egotastic Fun Time.
Hey.
And I think that was before you became the Orville guy.
Wow, so that's a long time ago.
Well, it's only a couple of years back, isn't it?
Like 3, I think.
Yeah.
3, like 2017. I think it was like
almost
the very end of September 2017.
Actually, you know what? I think I found you because you were doing like Star Trek reviews. And I think I saw one of your reviews of Discovery.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that'd be after. Because when I started doing YouTube, I was like, man, what do I talk about? I don't know. I'm just bored and I want to be creative again. Because I moved out to the middle of the country from LA where I was, trying to do acting and theater and all that stuff. And I had creative friends. I came out here, nobody. And then I was like, oh, I love Star Trek. I want to talk about Star Trek. But then I was like, everybody's talking about Star Trek. I would never be able to get any attention that way. I'd never be able to build a fan base. So I started talking to Orville because it reminded me of Star Trek. People started listening, and so that led to I was able to talk about Star Trek, which is something I don't do that much anymore.
There's a cosmic rip in space. There's like a wormhole. Hold on, Alicia. Can you see
A
that?
wormhole back there.
It's like the Nexus. There's a Nexus forming in her room right now.
Oh, look at Picard's
Do
celebrating
something.
Christmas.
No, Case. It's like the whole universe is like peeling away.
Oh, Kirk's making eggs.
It's like a fourth dimensional spatial fold. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
She can't even breathe. Something-
No.
Text her. JP, start texting her. We got to do
I
CPR.
have to turn on my
text.
phone.
Can you CPR someone with text? We can encourage you.
I haven't found the right emoji yet.
Actually, it's kind of like, what do you call it? What's it called? When somebody gets born, it's called oobla or something like that. Oh God, what's it called? There's a special name for it.
Ooblar.
Anyway, we were
Is it
gonna
a
try to. When you're like, you do the
Oh, Lamaze.
Lamaze, yeah, we can text. We can text her instruction. Anyway, I think she's gonna be all right.
My water broke. Oh, start practicing your Ooblar.
Yeah, start the Ooblar protocol.
I can see the
Okay,
tail. It's coming.
That's going to be episode 8. Episode 8 is when part of the universe starts curling back on the bridge, just like that. And then-
We found out it was all a green screen, right?
oh my
funny.
God. Well,
Funny.
luckily, I mean, guys, we're fine. The back scratcher has been found. All I
Fair
have
enough.
to do is this. It was properly stimulate the brain cells, and everything will be fine.
Lamaze will
I
start.
won't need to take another red pill until tomorrow. Oh God.
Wow.
What were we talking about? Oh my God.
I'm going to talk about Ooblars.
Ooh, before the Ooblars, there was
Oh,
something.
God.
There was something before the Lamaze, before the Ooblars, before the Oopa.
Oh, how we
The
met.
Oopa.
You were,
How you two met.
before I interrupted you, you were telling the story of how we
Right,
started
yeah.
working together.
So okay, this is the I sent a video to JP through Facebook on the 5 minutes per 6 months that he actually checks his Facebook page. I happened to send him a message about, and I said, remember it was like it was the loggers, the tree loggers in space or whatever it was.
Yeah, something like that.
It was like on my kids loved that video, but it was crazy. It was on a pond in a log chugging along. On a log in a pond chugging along. Yeah, that one. Anyway, we better not go there because it'll take me 5 minutes to recover. I won't be able to stop saying it. Okay. Down, boy. Stay. JP, stay. Okay.
I'm right here.
I'm talking right now. All right.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm right
This
here.
is a loaded back scratcher. Oh my God, the universe. Shit. Somebody help her.
The Phantom Zone took off without her.
It was the darker side of Star Trek fandom. Those guys are after us. Remember, they KGB'd our session on Monday. Remember that?
Oh yeah, well, my power went out.
We had to stop our.
No, I meant the Phantom Zone from Superman.
Oh, Superman.
I see. It was Nod and Ursa and Non.
Okay, are you okay, Alicia? I'm
Yes,
really sorry. I'm really sorry
it's
this has to
fine,
happen to you.
I have it steady enough.
I feel your
said
pain.
that's- That's funny.
Do you need a moment? Do you need a moment to realign your molecules? I'm serious. They need to be properly aligned.
I'm good.
If they start spinning counterclockwise rather than clockwise, that will totally mess up your feng shui. We can't have that. And then what's up? Then JP, he won't be able to stare at the wall like he used to.
Yeah, I can't stare at a green screen. Too many
Yeah,
possibilities.
no. Do it for JP. Just spend a moment, realign your molecules, get them all going clockwise. Okay. Is there any tinfoil available?
No, I'm good. I'm
A
good.
tinfoil hat would be quite useful at this moment.
So I've been asking you guys questions. It's your turn to ask me some questions now. Oh man.
I'll shut up now.
No, you guys
Right.
ask me questions now. It's your turn to ask me the questions now. Since I'm asking you a
Okay,
couple
I can't talk if I got the back scratcher around.
Well, I want to know when the Orville got on your radar.
Ooh,
Whose
that's a good
radar?
question. So
Whose
I
radar
got
are we talking about?
Alicia.
mine
Oh, Lisa's radar.
because I'm the biggest Orville fan besides
Mm.
JP. So I love science fiction. Basically, I got introduced to science fiction from the womb. My mom was pregnant with me when she went to go see Dune. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I said, okay, let me find out what's out there. And I remember this science fiction easy reader book. I think it was like with these kitten mold kind of things. And I remember reading that one. And I remember reading the science fiction with the time machine, Star Trek. I grew up with Star Trek The Next Generation, Star Trek the original series, Star Wars. Everything I have loved was science fiction. So when I found out about Orville, everybody was trying to talk me out of it. They said, Seth MacFarlane really doesn't do science fiction. I said, wait a minute. Did you not see Star Wars spoofs that he did?
Yeah.
Like, duh, come on.
Yeah. Something dark
What?
side.
The dark side. My diaper's gone on the dark side.
Yeah, because I didn't want to mess up my.
So I said, you know what? Let me check this out. And you know what? When I saw the very moment I tuned in, I was hooked. I could not let it go. And ever since then, I've been in it. I can't let it go. I mean, I've gotten into it so much that it's like my life, basically. Because people will ask me, is it coming back? They'll ask me other questions. And then I expanded to asking them for interviews like David Cabeza.
Mm-hmm.
And then expanded even further and further. And then I said, you know what, let me do something special for the Orville community, creating an Orville message boards where I'm going to after my movie gets finished.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also doing the Orville podcast, which I love. And we're on Spotify. And I just love doing so much Orville stuff. So Orville's my life.
Yeah. Well, it's also nice to have a new, an entirely new universe to play in that feels familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But it's limitless. They can do anything they want. There's no rules.
That's true. That's why I always tell people the universe is our limit now.
Yeah. And good luck filling that. Good luck filling up a whole universe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They said, I don't think you're going to run out of content because there's so much that I think of. And I say, did you know Isaac could be based on this? Could Isaac be based on that? Like, to me, Isaac could be based on Seth MacFarlane's character, Dr. Klaus, on Hellboy, the Golden Army. And I say, he could be loosely based on that, not just the ones that people always think of, like C-3PO or the ones that were in other science fiction. I said, well, what about Dr. Klaus? He's half human somewhat, but he's also robotic in many ways. So that's my theory of the matter. So,
well, I love the fact that Isaac is a reverse Data.
Oh,
where Data wanted to become more human because that was his goal, was to be more human, to become a real boy. Isaac doesn't care to become human. He thinks he's better than humans, but he's trying to understand humans just for a job. It's his job to understand humans better, and we eventually find out why.
Fair enough.
Then he ends up doing human things where Data was always searching to do more human things. Isaac is just hitting him, and all of a sudden he finds himself going along with it and in
his underwear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you on your period? And she's like, Isaac.
I am incapable of stuttering, so I assume you heard me.
All right.
Is there any other things Isaac wants to say, JP?
I'll have to wait for that.
F-bomb, and then afterwards he would say, Isaac, what? Then Captain Ed would say to him, Isaac, what did you just say? Oh, my apologies, Captain.
Oh,
What
my apologies,
did you-
Captain.
What did you just say, Isaac?
My apologies, Captain. That does not concern you. That is between Dr. Finn and myself.
Watch me whip, watch me nay nay.
Cool hip. I was a cool hip.
Yeah. Cool whip.
Why you
I
saying
think-
it so weird? Say to what? Say whip. Whip. Say
Whip.
cool.
Whip.
Cool hip.
Cool
You're
whip.
in here.
Yeah.
Actually,
And-
I had an idea. You know how C-3PO has one silver leg?
Red.
Does
He has
it?
a red arm though too. He has a red arm.
Well, he had a red before the red arm. He had a silver leg. A lot of people
Silver-
didn't know that.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It was hard to tell because it reflected off the sand, but it was silver.
Mhm.
So along
It
those
was.
lines, I think that Isaac should have a gold leg.
Just one gold leg. Who
Yeah.
knows what they're going to do in season 3?
We never know. We never
Yeah,
know. Could
we never know. And they've been so good at keeping stuff.
always a green eye.
Yeah, they weren't that great at keeping stuff, under their hat in previous seasons, but this third season, because they did
They're
such a
really-
good job in The Road Not Taken of making that a complete secret, no one knew about it. They learned how to keep it under wraps even better for season 3, which is a little bit exciting because I know that this next season is going to be so huge. No one can predict. No one can expect what we're about to get because it's going to be so crazy big. And I like that they keep secrets because I'm always figuring stuff out from the show just because I'm like, okay, I know this little piece of information from a trailer, or whatever, and then this piece of information from a previous episode. And then I would just start how would I write a situation for that. And then I usually end up being right a lot of times. But even when I guess things right, they still do it in a way that I never expected. So I always
Okay, I have a
appreciate
question
that.
then.
Mhm.
You know, in About a Girl,
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you predict that ending?
No, I didn't predict. Well, while watching them, so I'm like, okay, it could go either way. But at that point, we didn't know the show that well. I thought the
Mhm.
show would always go the happier route as
Mhm.
opposed to the more realistic route, which is what the show keeps doing with a lot of their endings. Some of the resolutions to situations are much more realistic than Star Trek would ever do. Star Trek
That's
would usually
true.
go the safe route with a lot of these situations, where the Orville's like, no, in real life,
Wrap
this
it
is
all
probably
up.
what would have happened. So, even
First-
in
The Orville has a little bit of a more serialized arc to it.
Mhm.
So then, of course, as a writer, you wouldn't want to wrap it up. You want to keep it open ended so you can keep it going.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, that's
that
a-
would make sense.
Yeah, because it seems like I know there's a lot of storylines from the previous 2 seasons that are going to be coming up in season 3. Yet, if you're new to the show, you'll be able to follow along just fine. That's one of the things they wanted to make sure that the new person could follow along just fine. But people that are fans of the show, they're going to see a lot of things from previous stories from previous episodes fit in to new episodes. Which I'm excited. That's the stuff that I really love because even though the show, it is a little bit serialized, even though every episode's pretty episodic, everything feels episodic, but there's always something coming up. That the Banana Ray became such a huge deal,
I know.
and we never even
Man.
saw the Banana Ray again. We just saw the little piece that Isaac took from it to start doing his experiments. But I never expected to really to see that again. But also, there's certain things they've done that I've been waiting for them to bring back up that they haven't yet. But I predict that they will because it's just obvious. The holographic emitter that Isaac gave them for the Krill episode, so that Gordon and Ed could look like Krill. Why isn't Isaac just walking around looking like Mark Jackson? He could just use that emitter. And I expect that they will do that at some point.
Well, we got to see him in those dreams.
Yeah.
The simulator.
Well, we saw him we saw him in the eSIM. And I'm like, and then once I saw that, I'm like, well, hell, he can just wear that avatar anytime he wants if he just uses that device.
As long as he goes to the simulator, he could be that anytime. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
And the simulator's not confined just to the simulator because we see that the rain simulation expanded to even the bridge on a happy return. So I know the fact that the simulation can go further than just one area of the ship.
Yeah, I
That was
assumed in last season that he was just going to walk onto the bridge, take a station, but it's Mark Jackson, and everyone's like, "Hello, who are you? Hello," and it's like, "It's me, Captain," and he presses the button, and it's Isaac again.
That's funny. That like they did the spoof kind of thing in the blooper
Mhm.
reel saying, Mark's walking in with his head off.
Yeah, Mark's walking with his head off. Yeah, that was funny. I'm like, well, he could. It would be completely
He
fine.
could do that. Because
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Mark at first until he started talking. I said, whoa, okay, that's Mark. Okay,
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah. That's another moment that I got a little bit teary-eyed when we saw Mark Jackson, actual
yes.
Mark Jackson for the first time. The camera pans
Yes.
up from the feet up.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I can't believe it. It's actually him. They didn't recast him or anything. It's actually him.
Yes.
So I'm like, we need to see him more. Let's bring him more.
do. I like him in clothes. He looks almost human without being human.
Mhm. Yeah, he's still playing the role.
The other thing they could do is have Dr. Flynn become a Kalon. They could
No,
go
that
both
works.
directions.
she wouldn't do that. She doesn't act robotic enough to me. I don't think so.
But he could teach her. I mean, Isaac could teach her the ways of the.
Well, Mark Jackson teaches all
could
the
teach
other
her metal
Kalon actors
ways.
how to do it.
He teaches poor Kai how to curse.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm interested to see in season 3 because everyone's a year older than from when they first started filming. They had to take a year break. So Ty and Marcus are going to be a whole year older.
Yeah.
And it's that I bet is going to be pretty obvious.
Yes, it will.
Pretty
They had to
obvious.
do some kind of time jump kind of thing. Say 1 year later, 2 years later, kind of thing. So
Yeah,
yes.
I don't know what they plan on doing because the entire season was written and finalized before COVID ever happened.
Exactly.
But that would be a fun way to do it. Like, well, it's still tough because they're filming the entire season piecemeal because the season's so huge, all the stuff that they're doing. So they might be filming 5 episodes at once.
That's true.
So
true.
I was going to say, they can just, in the middle of the season, just say, 6 months later and, or 1 year later, and then it moves on. But no, a lot of the stuff that they're filming now is going to go into the earlier season episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we'll just have to get over it. We'll just have to get over it when we notice it. Yeah. So, man, those kids are a foot taller. Oh, well, COVID. We're not going to worry about it.
Well, we have a similar issue
that.
we have a similar issue on our show where, like, between episode 2 and episode 3, JP magically grew about 3 inches worth of a beard.
Yeah. And I'm thinner.
And Captain Hardinger grew some pretty nice sideburns. I don't know if you see that. He didn't used to have sideburns.
Yes.
He was sideburn challenged, but that has ended. We now are well endowed on the right there and there.
All right.
Out of context, that would sound very weird.
Any other questions, fellas?
Oh boy!
What are you most?
Wait, I never answered the question. I remember
how we
talking
met?
about. Yeah,
Oh,
so I sent that, but
10 years later, we go back to
so actually the time when we really so that was when we met, okay, but the time when we actually connected for real was when I sent JP an orchestrated version of his theme song, which he still uses.
Right.
I sent it to him, and he was like, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah, it's crazy cool. It's
and then after that, I ended up on JP's what do you call it list? What would A list?
S list.
Yeah, I moved up. I got a front row seat after that.
Nice.
Yeah, and then also you got the new Talking the Orville theme song, which is a combination of the Orville theme song and Egotastic Fun Time.
Right.
So it's dun 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 dun.
Yep. So, and then pretty soon after that is when I sent you that outline for Egotastic track.
And then we finally had that first Zoom meeting. That was many, many, many months ago at this point.
That was a while ago. That was probably like last fall. Now go back and look. It's been a while.
Wow.
Whoa, wait a minute. Not this. Wait. Yeah, last fall.
I have no idea what year it is.
Me neither.
2021.
Oh man, what happened to 2020?
And we still don't have a moon base.
Oh, we threw
the
that one
hell?
out the window. Remember, JT?
Oh, that's right.
We threw
I
it out with the
remember now.
baby with the bathwater.
Oh,
Yeah, 2020 is just a meme.
speaking of the moon, I also got to work in some Space 1999. I forgot about that.
Oh,
We got to have some
yeah.
Space 1999 shots, at least of the Eagles flying around. It'll be shots from Space 1999, but in our show, it'll be them flying around like the asteroids or something like that.
There's a million things put in there. Sequest.
Yeah, Sequest.
Oh,
yeah.
yes. Or Deep Space Nine. I forgot about that one, too.
Oh,
Oh,
Deep
yeah.
Space Nine is totally in it because there's going to be an episode where when we're on that space station again, and we'll redo the bar fight and that whole deal. So that'll be, and we'll use both the original Trouble with Tribbles footage plus the Deep Space Nine.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a
version of
good
it.
one. Yeah.
That's going to be a very good one.
Because Chekhov is still there. He's stuck on that space station. We have to go pick him up.
Oh, yeah, you got to go rescue
Remember?
him. That's true. That is true.
Our Mr. Chekhov we had to have
He gets left
Cassius
behind
Mud
every time.
had to babysit him. Cassius Mud's going to hang out with the Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, so now Chekhov is all by himself, and somebody's got to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Cowboy Matt. We got to meet Cowboy Matt.
Oh, yes. That's going to be fun to see.
It's
What
going
was
to be
your
really fun.
question, JP? What was your question?
Oh, what are you most hoping to see in season 3? Is there a certain thing that you're hoping they do in season 3 of the Orville?
You know, I'd love to see Havina meet Talea. That would be a nice little crossover kind of thing. I would love to see that kind of thing.
Well, Havina's in it. That I do know.
Yeah, I remember she's supposed to be in it, but I'm not sure about Talea. But that would
Yeah,
be nice.
I haven't looked up Michaela McMahon lately to see, because what I do is I just go into everybody's social medias and I just see where they're at. I'm like, oh, right here, they're in this location. That might have something to do with the Orville.
Oh, Stalker. Jake,
Yeah, that's how I figure out everything. Is I just
not
look
only
everywhere.
does he stare at walls, he's also a closet stalker.
Well, JP and I both do that. We have our inward connection.
Yeah.
We will discuss.
Well, I had to do that to
What other
figure things
nefarious deals are going on behind the scenes? I don't know about. What's underneath that hat, anyways?
out.
We've
never
actually
my
seen
Instagram
his head.
password.
He'll never
Your
tell.
Instagram password.
My Instagram password, because that's where I do my research.
I'm starting to think
on
there's
Instagram.
like a trap door into a positronic brain.
You never
Oh,
know.
I wish I had a
That's why he
positronic
never
brain.
takes the hat off.
No,
That's
this
true.
is
when I expose the door.
That was an Independence Day with a little
Yeah.
alien.
the hats only come off when I'm living my regular life. When I become internet JP, I get all dressed up in my JP garb. I don't even wear glasses. This beard is
Oh,
just
really?
felt. Velcro's right on.
Yeah. So there's actually like dreadlocks stuffed under there that we never see.
No, he's
no.
bald. He's bald like
I
Lex
shave.
Luthor.
I shave all the way down because I work out.
He's a Lex Luthor. Did you know that, Matt?
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's all fake.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a
But
villain.
no,
I decided
I
to
would
go
love
villain.
to see
it's just-
Talea meet that.
Just
But I want to see
Mission
some more
Impossible, your face off.
I'm Tom Cruise. I was Tom Cruise the whole time.
But no, I think
I
I'm
knew
just
it.
interested to find out what happened to Topher.
Actually, I thought you were. I was pretty sure you were Sigourney Weaver. I know he's Sigourney Weaver. I can tell.
Yeah,
Got that smirk.
Well, Sigourney
You know,
Weaver is
and-
about 3 feet taller than Tom Cruise.
Everybody's at least 3 feet taller than
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
even I. Probably.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver is is average height. Well, she's probably a little bit taller, but she's still 3 feet taller than Tom Cruise.
Apparently, Tom Jones is also pretty short.
All the Toms.
Gigantic voice. Yeah, they got the
Except for
The
Tom
Tom.
Constantino now. except
Curse
for
of Tom.
Constantino.
Oh, how tall is Tom Constantino?
8 feet tall in the Orville community.
No, he's 10 feet.
10 feet tall. I stand corrected. He
Well,
stands 10 feet.
All right, so 66% of the Toms in the world are short. And
I know.
So don't name
50%
your,
are tall.
don't ever name your child Tom, folks.
Tom Thumb, of course, is extremely short.
Yeah, I prefer thumb.
Tom Thumb.
But no, in all seriousness, I
Now,
think
Thomas
I'm
the Train is
That's a
short, but
different-
that's only because he's sideways. If Thomas the Train wouldn't be sideways, he'd be super tall.
Mhm.
Oh,
Oh, but what was it you
No.
wanted? What was it you wanted to see in season 3?
oh
I
yeah.
think I want to see maybe Topa to find out more about Topa, to find out about and the teacher kind of bit, to find out did he finally learn to love and respect women like he was being taught to?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
And then
sure
it
he
kind of-
has. I'm sure he does. You know, at a disadvantage, being that Clyden's always telling him the opposite. But I'm hoping that through Topa, Clyden will stop being a jerk.
that's
start-
true.
Because Clyden is
true.
the one that needs to have that story arc, that change.
Yeah,
Clyden.
Clyde.
And I think
don't
we're working towards
anybody
that.
really likes Clyde, sadly, I don't think any of us really like Clyde because they say they should just make it official and end it.
Yeah, I love Clyden because I assume where it's going, that we're going to see a big change from him. But
Hopefully,
but also
hopefully, yes.
but also the Orville's very adult in certain ways, where they're like, yeah, everybody has that uncle, and you're never going to change him. So let's
That's
just have him represent that uncle because we all have that person that we know.
Hmm.
So it can go either way. Where maybe he gets close to changing, but then it doesn't quite.
Yeah, it could
Work.
tip in a whole different direction too. We never know.
Mhm.
It could be something totally where you think he's going to change, and then he goes, "Nope."
Yeah. And then one thing I want to see, and I wanted to see it last season, but they didn't do it. But I want to see Tala just rip through an entire squadron of Kalon with her bare hands.
Ooh, yes.
'Cause we saw her rip a door off, and even with Alara, we didn't see the type of feats of strength that I want. Yeah, she lifts something heavy every once in a while, but I want to see her in battle, just tear it up.
Yeah.
I want to see
Rip
what
it
a
open,
slaying
yeah,
can
like-
do.
Yes, like as a piece of paper kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yes, that's true. Because I want to find some more backstories. Hey, Tim Possible, but yeah, I want to see a lot of stuff. I can't wait to see what happens because, like you said, it's gonna be bigger and better. It's like I'm trying to find out the teasers myself, but don't know.
Until we see an actual trailer, we're not going to have any idea what they mean by when they say it's so big, and so it's like every episode is a movie. Like they went movie mode for every episode.
Remember, we saw that one VFX thing with the shuttle going through those caves and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something
yeah.
like that going on.
Yeah,
There's
even
been a lot of
yes.
effects, because I did the interview with Brandon, and Brandon gave me, because he says it could be something as simple as a star background, but then some of it gets more intense. And he says he couldn't tell me about season 3, but all I know is season 3 is going to be bigger and better.
Yeah.
What he said.
And the effects team was one of the few teams that were able to work all through lockdown,
Right?
Yes.
whereas everyone else pretty much got laid off or put on hold. The effects
Mhm.
team kept going because
Yep.
because you don't need to film stuff in order to keep
Right.
those
You can
those
do it all at your
effects going.
house.
And usually the effects is what takes the longest with the Orville.
Yes. I'm
So
not surprised. That
the
and
fact that
editing
they're
take
ahead
the
is going to be
longest.
great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those two take the longest because I know Tom made the mention that they only took one hard drive and they were thinking they were going to be home for a week. Nope.
Yeah.
1 year later, here
1
it is.
year.
Saying nope, still having to work. We're having to work
Yeah.
more remotely. Like Hillary, she's still working remotely. She said so.
Yeah. Tom says that he's both. Like sometimes they'll
Yeah,
have him working from home.
exactly.
Sometimes they have him at the studio.
Mhm.
The production said they're going to try their best to get me on the lot when I go in a week or two to California
Good.
to visit. But there's no guarantees at all because COVID restrictions are so strict. With
Mhm.
Disney's really got everything locked down. Because they don't want any of these productions to be shut down, especially the Orville, which had to wait an entire year before they were able to start back up. and they're so close. They're only like 2 months away from finishing all the principal photography. They said they're going to try. We'll see. But one thing, though, at least it'll be by the time I get there, the mask mandate in California would have been lifted for a whole week. So maybe there's a chance. But I like I was talking to Tom, I told him no matter what, at some point I'm just going to be out. I'm going to set up my camera outside the Fox lot at the gates, and I'll just start filming and recording stuff and doing commentary or whatever. And he goes, "Let me know. I'll totally come out." And I'm hoping other people come out as well.
Nice. Well, tell them I said hello for sure.
Oh, I will. I will.
Yeah, because I know I talked to quite a few of them for sure. So yeah, they're all awesome and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
What do you watch when you're not watching sci-fi?
Ooh.
What's your guilty pleasure for watching stuff?
I think I like to watch comedies like Family Guy. I like to watch NCIS. I watch a little bit of everything, I'll be honest. So
you're a Renaissance watcher.
Do you ever watch Bones?
I have.
My wife really likes that show.
I do. I like
How about-
NCIS. A lot of it's
How about,
based in my own backyard, so NCIS is like my go-to show because they've mentioned a lot of places. Like they mentioned the town where I'm living, but they did mention it's only a matter of time till they mentioned my hometown where I grew up. So I'm like, you know what? Because my hometown is Bladensburg, where the British stormed in the War of 1812. So I said it's only a matter of time till they mention Bladensburg. Because they always want to say it so wrong. Because even the GPS around here, they'll say Bladensburg. I'm like, it's Bladensburg.
Bladensburg.
Like Lederhosen.
Kind of like, but Bladensburg. I'm like, and they'll say Bladensburg, or they'll spell it all wrong. I'm like, really? Oh. But yeah, I like to watch almost anything, honestly.
Do you ever watch Young Sheldon?
I do. I can relate
I love
to
that
Young
show. I thought it was going to be a total dud when I first watched it, but then it turned out to be a great show.
It is a good show.
It's so well written. The acting is really good in it.
It is.
I love all the
consider myself
characters.
like Sheldon. I guess I am like Sheldon in many ways, even though I'm a girl. So I say, you know what, I like Sheldon.
The thing was they just revealed this week that everybody's been wondering about is like, does his dad have to die or leave? And I was hoping they were going to retcon it, but now they're saying no, it's going to happen. I'm like, no, when that happens, it's going to be super sad.
It will.
I love him. I mean, but what I read in the article that I read said that it won't be till season 7, based on the current timelines. So, but like right now, I don't know if have you watched the latest episodes?
Not yet. I haven't.
Okay, I won't say anything then, because there's a little bit of foreshadowing that happens.
Okay.
But it's good. It's suddenly becoming like the show suddenly has become more dramatic. You know, the thing about Chuck Lorso's is he's good at that. I mean, he mixes drama and comedy really well, and his characters are really real. And that's one of the reasons why that show works so good.
Yeah, dramedies are the best. I mean, that's one reason I love The Orville so much. I mean, it started out more as a comedy, but it got real serious real fast. Just after the middle of the first season.
Yeah.
For me, the real turn was in Into the Fold.
Ooh,
that seems the one where the show became this is actually a serious show. There's some hardcore stuff.
It was early on that it was a very serious moment, because the fact is that he's having to deal with this potential thing with the Krill and stuff like that, but we don't know who they are exactly, who the Krill are and stuff like that. When they're saying, "Give me the device" and everything like that, we're like, who are these people and stuff like that? And then we find out more about them in the episode Krill, that there's these space vampire kind of alien kind of
just really religious society that looks down on any other race that doesn't know other teaching.
Rental company.
And they're going to be exploring that much further in season 3. I know that the question with the Krill is like, okay, that they're exploring is like, okay, are the Krill just some religious fanatics, or are they just us? Are they more of like a left wing, right wing type of relationship, or are there different areas, different types of Krill in their society that believe different things? We're going to be finding out a lot about the Krill in the next season.
Yeah, they sort of remind me of the Borg, is the way they are, and also the Ori and Stargate. They remind me of them because of the way they have that religious order thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
How's your day going? Got any big plans this week?
So, Matt, will we get any cello music more in the next coming episodes by any chance?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's got to play his cello in every episode, at least for a few minutes. It wouldn't be Captain Hardinger if he didn't play his cello.
What's the origin of his name by any chance? I'm just curious.
Okay, so his name came from that Trouble with Tribbles episode.
Ooh,
and
okay.
His nickname, of course, he never say it in that music video is basically what it is. But he was originally called Hard Ass Matt because on that he was a total hard ass. He's like, all right, who did this? You know, he's just grilling the guys in the lineup. So then somehow I got from Hard Ass Matt to Hardinger. So I just wanted to give it a German name. And then, of course, it became Matthew A. Hardinger. And then
Matthew A.
Right, A. Like Fonzie.
Yeah.
I think A stands for Adrian. I haven't decided yet. It stands for something.
That'd be an interesting episode to discuss. What does the A stand for?
Yeah. We'll find out.
Happy Days is one of my first sci-fi loves.
Yeah.
Yes, Happy Days is a sci-fi show. That's where they introduced Mork.
We had Happy Days was in the Lava Lamp episode. Remember Fonzie?
That's right.
Yes,
And I'm
he
bringing
was.
back. There's gonna be a scene later on when we have Fonzie on his motorcycle in the shuttle bay. Already figured out how to do it. And he's gonna be listening. The thing is, he's gonna be listening to salsa music. And he's gonna be. What's happening? Okay, here's the scene. I shouldn't give it away. Okay, guys. Implied NDA. You can tell no one. If I see this on the internet, I will come after you.
It's on the internet right now.
I will.
Right
I will. If anybody tweets this, I will personally flame them.
Oh
And
no!
if you know my channel, if you know my can't, I know how to do this. I'm just being nice right now, but I can flame. Anyway,
Flame on, Johnny Torch.
so
Bring
all
it
I'm
on,
saying-
Matt. Me and
Right,
JP
so-
will take you on. Bring it on.
what happens is, okay, so there's this salsa song I really like. There's a salsa. I just said, okay, I'm in my Model 3 and I say, play salsa music. And then it magically starts playing it on this super good stereo system, which unfortunately is on the fritz right now. But they're going to fix it tomorrow, so everything will be fine. But so there's this song. I heard this really cool salsa song, and it's called Devorame. So I looked it up, and I'm thinking, I think that means devour me. So I looked it up, and it does. I mean, the whole song, it's got all these overtones, and basically the guy's saying, just devour me with your love. So anyways, there's going to be this scene where Fonzie's listening to this song, and Hardinger's grilling him because he's out of uniform, blah, blah. Anyways, he goes, son, do you even know what that song means? And Fonzie goes, no, I just like it, or whatever. Then Hardinger goes with, have you ever been so in love that it just devours your soul? It's like you're caught in a bear trap over an anthill and they eat you alive from the inside out. Then Fonzie goes, no. And then he goes, well, consider yourself lucky.
I can picture him saying that. I can just hear him saying that. Yes.
See, I mean, part of Hardinger's character, he's like this total cowboy badass guy, right? He's always trying to be a badass. And then stuff is always getting thrown at him. And he always bounces back. But then what happens is throughout the show, you get to see his soft side. And you see that he has all these vulnerabilities. And luckily, the way I'm writing it, you get to see them all, all his problems. And then he shows them to you and he reacts, like the thing where he was like in the mirror with putting on his makeup, so he looked good for the admiral. And he's like slapping himself because he's trying to get undrunk, and then he turns around, and the way that he can switch back and forth, I mean, this total tough alpha male guy. But then what happens also in the show is that there's all these powerful female characters around him that they know how to manipulate him, and they know how to get their way with him. And he does his alpha male thing, but they all know it's bullshit, and they easily have him alpha male himself into a box, and then he's like, now what do I do? Anyways, there's a million and one versions of that we can do. So yeah. Now, how did we get on this subject?
I was talking about the last name and origins of the last name.
Oh yeah, Hardinger. Yeah. So there's more to that too now, of course. So
very cool. Very, very cool.
But we won't mention it yet. It needs to be properly framed. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. So will we get full versions
of your family show? We're not a rated R in your face type of show. We are family friendly. Of course, certain things are required to make families, of course, but we're not going to mention it. It just sort of happens.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
And Hardinger is over 50, and guys that are over 50 have, life. Things change. Life happens. We learn how to deal with it. Unfortunately, certain things are not available because of whatever.
Because of the change.
Because I can't take the damn blue pill because the damn red pill I have to take. Okay.
Try the purple pill.
Well, there aren't any purple pills, unfortunately. Maybe there's a green pill, like a pill with Eagle Lithium in it. Maybe that's the thing. Okay. In episode 9,
I heard green M&Ms are supposed to work.
Hardinger realizes that if he can work a trace amount of Eagle Lithium dust into his chai, maybe that will be able to take. That's another reason why we need Eagle Lithium.
He needs maybe a good chai and a good meditation.
Right.
Captain Jeff needs to teach him how to meditate.
That's true.
Go start with the wall.
It won't matter. I can just
step 2. Look at it.
All right. Actually, Juliet will be able to will help things. I want to talk about Juliet for a sec because she's
she's so cool. It seems like.
So it's really fun to have a character that never speaks, but they just make motions, and you figure out what they're thinking and what they're feeling just by their body movement. And so that's Juliet. It's kind of like that, She's kind of, I don't know, what's another version of Juliet? I mean, that would be like, I don't know. In a way, she sort of represents Hardinger's subconscious too, because she's just this lava monster blob, and it's kind of like what your mind looks like if you look inside and you just see all the random stuff flying around. So, anyway, she's
very different. Really she's cool. Different from our other favorite gelatinous blob.
Right. She's sort of like a Yaphet in a way, but she's much more wise.
Speak. That's really different. She's Yaphet's evil cousin, right?
Yeah.
She's not ready for that jelly.
But she's going to get an episode when they get to the Eagle Lithium mines in the asteroid belt. She's going to come with Hardinger, and she's going to help, make the tunnels and stuff. So she'll have her own thing where she gets to show.
Will she ever talk then? Or will she just be very non-speaking?
She does talk, don't you? You just need to understand Horda.
Okay, so
all the time.
I think I lost my dictionary. Maybe JP can loan me his.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all out of dictionaries. I got plenty of thesauruses, though.
We can stick a universal translator on her, and then she'd be able to talk.
Nice.
Tape it to the side of her or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or put on her forehead area.
Probably won't do that. The thing is, if you had her talk, it would wreck it. You got to have that mystery.
That's true. It's left to your imagination what she's saying. That's true.
Yeah.
I'd rather have that too. So yeah, that's up to your imagination.
The other
what JP is.
Okay, the other interesting. I need to tell this story too. The other interesting character, who's Domenica, the EEH.
Yes.
The emergency esthetician hologram. So Dominica, the person who plays Dominica, actually her name really is Dominica, and she really is an esthetician. She does people's eyebrows, and waxing and all that. So I just completely created that character based on her and had her play it. And it was mostly, to tell you the truth, originally it was just a way to get her into the show. But then, that what's kind of sort of happens, you throw in a random character and then start building the stuff around her. And now she's like one of my favorite characters. I think it's totally great to have her as one of the people quotes that Hardinger actually confides in.
Yes.
So we get her in episode 3 really well too. You've seen it. You've seen her scene.
Yes, I did like that a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
That was really cool. Hopefully, we'll find out more about her. And so is she loosely based on the EMH, the Doctor one from the Voyager series?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for us, she's the EEH.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Will we get some more original cello compositions in there by any chance?
Yeah. In fact, I recently wrote a cadenza to the Haydn Cello Concerto in C major, and I may use that in I may have him play that in one of the upcoming scenes. Or, actually, also a friend of mine's a composer who wrote this really nice piece for cello and orchestra that I might use too. Either way, we'll get something original, something that has never been heard before.
Nice.
So
Will we get any singing from either one of you by any chance?
Well, we already got JP singing.
Yeah, we got the whole Orvilla theme.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one. Will we get more of those?
We will get, not in episode 3, but in episode 4 we'll get some more singing by Meg, who plays Elaine.
Yes.
She's gonna sing "Crazy" by Patsy
Ozzy
Cline.
Osbourne.
Written by Willie Nelson.
She sings, and she's really good at Patsy Cline. That's actually how I met her. I played violin in a band that backed her up while she did a whole Patsy Cline concert.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's how we met. And then later I found out she was a really accomplished actress. And she also teaches acting at a college in Seattle too. So she's got lots of talent. And she's got an IMDb page, I found out, because she's been on a few shows.
Nice. Very nice.
She's quite and great to work with. Super easy to work with.
Yeah.
Super professional.
It shows that you two get along, even though there's obviously some tension there between the captain and her. So, yes.
Yeah, we worked that. There's always going to be that. Yeah, well, you know what? I think I got to call it good because people are starting to text me like, where are you? I want you to help me on my computer.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, thank you so much for coming. Is there anything coming up that we need to be prepared for on your channel by any chance?
Well, the big drop today was the thing with the JP Planetary Anthem. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that. It's 3 minutes long. It's very good.
All right, thank you.
I might do I am going to do a Tesla video pretty soon where we summon the Tesla out of the garage, out of the shuttle bay.
Ooh.
That's going to happen.
Very cool.
Other than that, it's episode 3 coming out hopefully in a month.
Very cool.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of editing.
Yeah.
So how many episodes should we expect in total from the series by any chance, in case somebody is curious?
Well, it's kind of like bacteria. It keeps doubling every couple of months. So when are you talking about?
So I guess
5 years from now, that would probably be about. I'm thinking 100 episodes at least. I'm serious. I could easily write 100 episodes already. It's like every episode, every scene spawns like a whole new thread, that like, oh, now here we're going to go this way. So hopefully, I do hope to do quite a few. Maybe I can get like 4 a year or maybe 5 a year and kind of plan to keep doing it for quite a while. So a lot.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
An indefinite
All right, well,
amount.
thank you. That sounds good. Well, thank you for coming out, Matt. I appreciate
Thank
you coming
you.
out. You're
My
welcome.
pleasure. Okay, now I press. Now what button do I press? How do I get down to the Bat Cave? Which is the Bat
Leave
Cave button?
studio. You hit leave
Blue button?
studio.
Yeah, whichever one's the big red one.
Okay, there's a red one with an X on it.
Yes, that's the
Is
one.
that the one I press?
Yes.
All right, 3, 2. Well, just a second. Let's
Oh,
try
he
that
did
again.
explode, folks. He did
Okay,
explode.
Close one.
All right. Well, wait. Wait. Okay.
It disappeared out of existence.
Woo! So, any other questions for me, JP?
What is going on with your channel? What's
Well,
coming up? What do you got planned?
Let me see. I think maybe next week I may do another watch party for some more Orville episodes, since I'm almost finished with season 1, rewatching it again. So we're going to be on the episode, let me see, episode after Mad Idolatry. So yeah, no, not Mad, sorry. Yeah, so yeah, I'm almost finished because
Yeah, it's almost finished. And then you could get on to that Jaloja episode.
Yes, but you're welcome to join me on those if you ever choose to. I may do it on Twitch and stuff like that. I start on YouTube and I go over to Twitch. I may do that.
Yeah, just remind me, and then I'll see what I can do. My schedule's just always all over the place.
Gotcha.
Especially right now because I'm planning that whole trip to LA.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm going to do that. I'm also going to release episode 5 of my podcast. So that's going to be fun. So that's always been fun. I love doing that so much. I mean, I wrote episode 13. I've done 13 episodes. I'm still adding to it because I'm still going to have you on there, and I'm going to still have PJ on there to discuss you guys' role in the Orville community, because some people may be wondering, well, who are these Orville leaders and stuff like that? Who are these community team members? So
I was a big Orville fan.
Yep, just like me.
A huge Orville fan. And then people are like, because I have my one channel that I mostly just do Orville stuff, but I am going to be putting a little bit of other stuff out there every once in a while. But I mostly do Orville stuff. That's the concentration. People are like, well, how long are you going to do the Orville? I'm like, as long as it exists. When they finish, I'll be finished.
Right, exactly.
But it'll probably still take me a little while to finish up because there'll be so much to talk about.
Yes,
they just did.
So do you have any theories about who Derek is by any chance? Because I know I have one of my own about who Derek is. But do you have any theories about why Seth keep referencing these Dereks?
Well, it might just be a fun name to make fun of, Derek. But now Derek in Old Wounds, who was working at Epsilon.
Correct.
Epsilon 2 as in the science department. Well, the whole thing's the science department. He was working for the Krill. I think the Krill might have threatened him into working with them. Yeah. But also in the Word of Avis, the Orville season 1.5 comic book, there were some Union scientists that befriended Talia. That when she was in prison after the Krill episode, she was held by the Union. She was in prison. They were studying her and all that stuff. They started believing in the Ancana. And so they all broke off and were heading into Krill space to join the Krill. And they were humans. They were part of the Union. I'm thinking, oh, maybe Derek is someone kind of like that, even though Derek happened before that situation happened. So I'm like, you can go either way. But as far as like making fun of the name Derek, it's just a fun name to make fun of, I guess.
Well, my theory is that basically Derek was a bully to Seth MacFarlane because he mentions Derek in Family Guy. So he was
so in real life, there was a Derek that he doesn't like.
Exactly. He was a bully to poor Seth and stuff like that. And so he said, you know what? This is my middle finger to you, Derek. Screw you.
Yeah, that makes total sense. With a lot of shows, a lot of little things like that, it's because the creator something in their lives, and so they put it into the show.
Exactly. So yeah, that's my theory on the matter. I mean, I could be absolutely wrong, but like I said, that's my theory on the matter.
It's a good one. It's as good as any, I guess. Better than some, actually.
That's true. At least it's not so crazy.
There's got to be a Derek story. Oh, it had to be a Derek.
Of course, it's a Derek.
Yeah, of course, Derek.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
No, I'm good. I'm actually got to go hit the stores here in just a second.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, JP. I appreciate you and Matt coming out. You guys were so awesome today.
Thanks for having me. We'll have to have a podcast conversation soon.
Absolutely. And I'd love to be on your channel sometime. So let me know when it's a good time for me to come on too. And you have a great safe trip.
Thank you very much. I'm going to film the whole thing, and I got things planned. Hopefully they're not so big that I don't do them, but I have ideas of things to film along the way and ideas.
Yeah, maybe you can do little shorts and stuff like that too.
I got tons of ideas, and I'm creating a list. And also,
nice.
I'm going to be putting out a video in a day or two, letting everyone on my channel know that I'm going to LA. And then, I have a little fundraiser going on so people can chip in for gas or whatever. And I'm going to let them know. Anyone that contributes, let me know if you have any ideas, and I'll see what I can do.
See what I have one for you to do before you leave.
Okay. What's your idea?
Donate. See what happens with how they react when you offer them a banana or a pickle.
Okay.
When you offer them a banana and a pickle. Say, would you like a pickle or a banana?
Yeah, I'll do a jar of pickles.
Yes, that's perfect.
Because then it'll be cleaner that way.
Yes, of course.
I'm like, factory sealed pickles. Here you go.
Exactly. Who was a pickle or who was a banana?
Yeah, and they're probably like, well, we have plenty of pickles. Pickled bananas.
Ooh.
Oh, pickled bananas would be perfect.
That's
don't need to fear them.
That's a good idea.
But all right, yeah. So I'll keep you updated. You keep me updated. And if anything, we're all going to be screaming our heads off when they finally announce the air date for season 3, which I feel it's coming really soon.
Yes.
Really soon. I feel a trailer's coming and the announcement. I'm sure the announcement will come along with the trailer.
It's only a matter of time. That's true. That's true.
And they can welcome us back to the galaxy.
And we can all say, yeah, we told you to wait. We told you to wait.
Yeah. Seth says it'll be worth it. Don't worry. It'll totally be worth the wait.
Exactly. Tom says if Tom and them say it's worth waiting, it's worth waiting for.
Yeah.
And if JP and I are saying it's worth waiting for, it's worth waiting for.
Yeah. So I would say I can't wait, but I will. I will wait.
If I can wait 5 years for a computer game to come out, I can wait however long it takes.
I waited a long time for GTA 5 to come out, so I know how it goes. Mm-hmm. But all right, I'll see you later. And everyone out there in internet land, thank you for watching. Thank you for checking out my show, checking out Alicia, checking out Matt, and love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, JP. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, guys. That was that fun interview with JP and Matt. Oh, that was so much fun, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun talking to the two of them. As you guys see that they're fun, lively individuals that we're just all supporting each other in this Orville community. And I highly recommend that you guys check out Matt's fun fan series that he's doing with JP. But they are so awesome. They're so incredible. They are good friends of mine. In the process of we're getting really to become good friends. And I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot, me talking to them. Because like I said, Matt reached out to me in the middle of one of my interviews, and I reached out to him saying, yeah, sure, no problem. I would love to do an interview with you and JP. And he reached out to JP, and JP said, yeah, he'd be interested. So that's how this came about and everything like that. I mean, like I said, JP and me are like two sides of a coin in many ways because we both love Orville so much. And we said, you know what, let's do something fun and different together. And so he's so supportive, as you guys see. He's really genuine that what you see is what you get. But yeah, I mean, we didn't go through all of the questions that I had for them, but we went through the majority of the ones that I did have. And it was nice that they were able to ask me questions too, because like I said, I'm an Orville fan. I'm a science fiction fan as well, that I love this community so much. But Orville is definitely my top favorite of all of them. But hope you guys enjoyed this fun interview that took place. Everybody that came out to the chat, I don't know why YouTube gave you guys late notifications. Those of you that did watch, I'm sorry that that happened. I don't understand that. Big Daddy John, thank you so much for coming. Orville Nation or PJ, thank you for coming, my dear friend. Check him out, you guys. Also, Jack Beers, LDG of Geeks, who enjoy Neurotica. He's an awesome person. Miss Watchtower, or as Chloe as I call her, check her out. Elihu, who? He's awesome. Tim Possible, the Catman or DD Myers, Is Star Light UK, Bone, and like I said, everybody, one of you that's been here, and those of you that will catch the replay of these interview, thank you so much for tuning in because you guys are so, so awesome. I'm Alicia, or AVP as I'm known as, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. And I will see you guys in another video. If you want to be on some of my live streams or do things with me, let me know. Contact me. You can contact me via Twitter, which is under AVP60685, or you can reach me out on Facebook, YouTube. My messages are always open for you to message me. And if you have suggestions on ideas what I can do, let me know too. And so that is all for today's fun live stream. My name is Alicia, or AVP, signing off until the next time. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.